And when it kind of stopped, I heard a guy screaming. And when I looked over, there was this guy that was on fire. So I just kind of like ran over, and I tried to like put the fire out on him. And he was like screaming, and I just
see something go into the building, but everything happened so fast I wasn't quite sure what I was looking at.
My God, it's right in the middle of the building.
This one into the east tower.
Yes, right in the middle of the building.
I felt that people were very inviting, warm, and interested in who you are and where you've come from. But this time I think I was scared. I was scared because I felt that it is very easy for somebody to put a bullet in your head.
I never knew something like this could happen. Because, like when I came from Kenya, when I came here, I thought I was in heaven, seriously.
It was my grandfather who moved to Kenya in the late 1800s as part of the British Empire that both colonized India and Kenya. At the time that I moved, Kenya was going through a little transition politically, and so people at that time felt that it might be a good option to have some of their family members move out to a safer country. I think it was more of a curiosity in this country. Why do you wear a turban? Why do you look the way you are? Not in a way that made me feel necessarily looked at in a bad way.
So Sikhism is the 5th largest religion in the world. What we really believe in is being honest. We do believe that it's important to give back. We don't believe in cutting our hair. We have a very distinct external identity.
Sikhs stand out so beautiful, when they were wearing a turban. Everybody knows this guy is a Sikh. You can recognize a Sikh from anywhere.
I was getting ready to go to my rounds at the hospital, and I usually listen to the news in the morning, and I saw those very terrible images of the planes going into the World Trade Center. It's interesting that my first concern was what's going to happen to people who are of color.
Right after 9/11, we started seeing images of somebody that looked very closely to what our fathers looked like, what our uncles looked like. We saw Osama bin Laden with a long beard. He was wearing a white turban that resembled quite closely to ours. And so as soon as we started seeing these images in the media, we knew that there was going to be backlash, not just on the Sikh community, but also on the Muslim community.
The 9/11 was very, very important to shake everybody all over the world, like the news and all that, Things like that have happened, like bombing has happened in Kenya as well, in the embassies in Kenya, but nothing was related to hate crime. See, all this hate crime, everything came up after 9/11.
I remember how it became a time where you had to show your patriotism. People had flags on their cars, hanging from the windows. And it was an attempt to show that I'm American, I'm a patriot. Look, I have a flag here, so please don't come and attack me. Don't graffiti my house. I'm as affected as you are.
Balbir Singh Sodhi was the first Sikh American that was killed after the 9/11 events. His killer, came to the gas station and shot him from behind. Everybody was very, very scared, but that tragic moment when Balbir Singh Sodhi died, that really shook us to the core.
It was just like a normal day, for me to go and open the store. I'm leaving Delmar and getting onto Miramar, and I stopped the car. They opened my door, and I think they had something in their hand, but I couldn't see the knife or the blade. So the first thing they said, this is what you get for what you've done to us. I saw those two people coming from behind, but I thought they were just other bikers, And when they came and stood by me, I thought they were just they were passing by. So I got myself under the steering wheel, and I think they just gave me 2 cuts here. I went up to my video store, and I think there were 2 young Indian boys. As soon as I stopped my car, they saw me bleeding. And everybody in India, the Indians, they call everybody Auntie Ji. Say, Auntie Ji, kya hua? So I told them, and then they took me to the hospital.
In the weeks following September 11, spent a lot of time at home, didn't go out that much, pretty much home to work and then back. And I had a particularly bad experience once. I was at the traffic lights, and I had two very aggressive individuals make obscene gestures and point to my turban and actually, do this like a gun sign. I just couldn't take it anymore. And I got out of my car at the stoplights and said, okay, do it. Let's see. There was so much heat, so much hate, so much anger, so much resentment, so much misunderstanding. So as pragmatic as my parents who live in Kenya are, they felt that I was not safe. And they started to urge me down the route of maybe I should stop wearing my turban for now.
I must have gotten flowers from maybe 100 different people, like my old friends, some customers I knew, the good wishes and blessings, that helped me so much. I personally think that, like so much other things have happened, like somebody like Balbir Singh's family, he died, he couldn't have come. For me, I was lucky enough to be back with my children and my family.
People didn't recognize me that first day when I walked into the hospital. It was very painful. I was very self-conscious. And a lot of people didn't recognize me until I spoke and they saw my name badge and, wow, Bhupi, what happened to you? And, it still doesn't make me happy. And it left a scar in me that maybe we're not really free here. It took me many years to be able to look in the mirror and see, because I couldn't recognize the person in the mirror.
This tragedy also forced the Sikh community to come together and also forced us out of our comfort zones, where we began doing interfaith work and teaching other people who Sikhs really are.
And I remember very distinctly, and this was when this beautiful organization, the Sikh Coalition, took birth, is when they had to stand up and help educate the community. And a lot of people said we should actually make it clear, we should educate the public that we're Sikhs, we're not Muslims. And I felt myself being pulled into that for a while, that, let me make it clear, Sikhs, the guys with the turbans, they're the good guys, they're from India, they're not from the Middle East. And the first thing the Sikh Coalition, I remember distinctly, they said, our mission is, we are never, ever going to say us and them. We are all together.
I do hope that we can start moving in that direction, where we are training educators to make sure that this part of history is not lost.
We have to understand that, like there could be some other people who still have that thing in their hearts, that, they still hate brown people, or they're hating Muslims, or they're hating Sikhs,
The hate has ramped up again over the last few years. Not just for brown people, for anyone who's a minority, whether it's the Jewish community, whether it's the Muslim community, whether it's the black community. It seems like over the last few years, we are going backwards. We're all Americans. But you wonder, are some people more American than others?